Hello guys, and welcome to another day with Zimaleta. In today's video, I'm actually trying to figure out what is the problem with my turbo. Is it the actuator valve? Is it the wastegate? The code that I'm actually getting is turbo under boost condition detected. But the interesting thing about it is when I'm not getting a code, it is the turbo is strong as ever, it pulls like really good. So something's happening. Either the wastegate's getting stuck, or the actual actuator kind of like messed up and it's like not doing its job. Like, I'm hoping that the actuator would fix the problem, but my mind is leaning more towards the actual turbo wastegate. It is probably getting seized somehow, you know, somewhere it's getting stuck. But at the same time, this could be like an electrical problem where it's just some kind of glitches happening inside of the turbo actuator to where it's causing a wastegate to maybe become closed or something while driving, therefore cutting off the turbo. So something's happening, and I'm not sure what it is. And today, I'm about to find it out. So the very first thing I would like to do is actually show you what the turbo actuator actually looks like, and I'm going to show you what the actual turbo looks like. I'm going to have both of those things on the table. That way you guys could actually see kind of like what to expect, what to do, and kind of like how difficult is this job really to replace your own turbo. Well guys, right now I'm underneath my hood here, and here's the turbo. And right here is the actuator leg. You could kind of see it. It's, you know, this turbo does look a little bit rusted, which I don't think it's a big problem, but if it's rusted like this on the outside, I mean, kind of think about it, like it could be rusted inside. So by changing the turbo actuator, it might not really help things, but it's an electronical type of connection, and you could see there's kind of like a C-clamp on there. Look, see? You'll have to remove this C-clamp in order to remove the turbo actuator type of stick, and basically just controls it like up and down, up and down. I'm thinking that if I would oil it up, it would actually might, you know, work good and stuff like that. But it's a wastegate, so obviously it's located right over here where the exhaust gases are, and when it's being closed, probably it restricts a lot of exhaust gases, you know, and causes the turbo like not to spin that fast. But you see kind of like what I was talking about, guys. Here's the exhaust pipe, you know, coming out of all 5 cylinders, and it's going right into the turbo, causing the turbo to spin really fast. But together we got the air here being sucked in, and it goes inside, and it rotates the turbo even more. So together they're basically trying to spin the turbo. So the faster you go, the more exhaust gases you create, the more air is being sucked in. And then of course towards the bottom there, you see there's the turbo resonator, that little plastic piece that's sticking out right there. It basically forced air, you know, coming out of there, and it's going right into the intake, which is well, not an intake, but intercooler, which is going right there, and it travels kind of like underneath here, and then it basically comes out over here like on this side, and it goes right into the intake, and boom, you know, things are working really nicely. But there could be like other things that's kind of causing, I mean, this AGR could be malfunctioning and causing it to you know, for the, like it maybe closes or something, or stays open, and then turbo will be like under boosted. But that's besides the point right now. I don't think it's the AGR. Here's some sensors I wanted to show you guys. This is a barometric sensor. It's kind of like painted over, and looks like I have a white sticker here. Somebody said to me that they're having a barometric sensor problem. That is that right there. So if you're having that problem, just replace the sensor. And there's a temperature sensor right there. It goes right in the hole over there. And those things go bad when like water gets on them. But for some reason, I think sometimes condensation builds up inside of the pipes due to maybe temperatures outside that change and stuff. So that's how it could shorten out and just die. But if that thing goes, vehicle's not going to be pulling good. Same thing with this. It's you know, it's sensors, you know, so like it really does not help. And then they have the same type of barometric sensor on this side, that thing right there. And it looks kind of different over here, but it's the same type of sensor. It's just shaped differently for some reason on this vehicle. But anyways, guys, hi guys, this is the used turbo that I actually have right here. I wanted to kind of show to you, and here's the turbo actuator. It's electronic. It's got this lever, kind of like moves up and down. And here's the little lever that it controls. As you could see on the turbo, when it's off, you could actually kind of control this. So I guess the thing that I can test is just kind of like remove the actual actuator, just disconnect it from the turbo, and see if I could even shift this thing, you know, on the actual turbo. However, on the actual actuator, this thing's supposed to rotate, but it's not rotating because it's electronic. It should electronically rotate, kind of like rotate the actuator up and down. So what I'm kind of wondering is, if I actually disconnect the actuator arm, which is located right there, if I could actually move the lever up and down, because this might be just a problem where my turbo lever is getting stuck because there's probably, I don't know, maybe rust build up inside. But anyways, this kind of gives you an idea. This is what the electronic actuator looks like. It plugs in and then it goes to the wiring harness, but the turbo does not actually have any kind of wiring that actually plugs into it. And this is a Garrett turbo, which is performance turbo, guys. This is actually the good stuff. Over here, this is where the air actually comes into the turbo, guys, and this is where it exits. So as it exits, it's rotating this type of shaft. It's feels like it's actually getting stuck. It shouldn't be really getting stuck, but I got this little stick thing here. This actually was spitting, so I don't know why it's being stuck right now. There was a lot of dust and stuff on this turbo from storing it. Let me see. Maybe it's because it does actually rotate. I'm not sure why there was like something stuck in there or what, but yeah, that little sticky is kind of getting stuck. But I'm using this little stick here to rotate the shaft. As you can see, there's really like no play in it. It's actually pretty good. So this turbo is actually a good one. It's just a possible thing that it's getting some junk that actually fell through it or something. But at the same time, when you're rotating that shaft, this one is actually rotating too. This is the exhaust one. Here it is right here. So it's rotating just fine. As you can see, it's a little bit at an angle. But as the exhaust gases come in here, look at an angle that it's actually going. So it's basically spinning the turbo. As it exits, basically it's just spinning the turbo like this. And then the down pressures, they actually exit out. If you kind of think about it, this is where all the exhaust gases exit. This is kind of small. Let me see if I could show you a closer picture. But if you kind of think about it, this is the whole area that it exits, and it goes into this bigger type of pipe. And then you got the fittings, you know, for the down pipe, you know, to go on and stuff. So I actually got a pretty big pipe on here, if you kind of think about it. So yeah, I just gotta make sure, you know, I kind of cleaned it up, guys, but you know, I'll need to kind of like clean this up a little bit more. But the important thing is that I did wanted to share with you guys is that if you move this lever up and down, it actually does move. And like it could only move but so much. But this one is moving up and down. So I'm gonna try to remove the C-clamp on this one and see if I could get that to move. Guys, I don't have the actual C-clamp remover, so I'm using a magnet. You can't really see it, it's the bottom, and I'm using a pan to try to actually catch the magnet. So I'm just gonna try to get in there and try to just remove it using a screwdriver. Basically, it's almost removed. Okay, success. As you can see, guys, by using a magnet, I was actually able to catch it right there. So yeah, like, it's really easy to drop, but you know, you could put like a oil pin at the bottom or something to try to catch the C-clamp. So now let's separate the lever and see if it actually moves. So I'm just gonna try to slide it out of there. So I just separated it, and then it put on by itself. From what I could tell, guys, it is kind of loose. It shouldn't be, like, it's broke. I think it's broken, guys, on the turbo, the actual lever. So it looks like in my case, it's not really the turbo actuator, it's the actual turbo that's having this issue here. So let me kind of show you this close up here. Look at what's going on. It just keeps going down, and it's really not supposed to do that. Okay, I forced it into the upper position, then I forced it back down. So I'm not sure if up means that it's actually going to be faster. So let me turn on the turbo and see if guys, it's a good thing I have a spare turbo for reference. But look at kind of like what's going on here. Basically, I'm able to kind of like control it anywhere I would like it, you know, like higher, lower, and it's not really having, you know, like anything else. Like there's, like, it's just basically smoothly goes from up to top, and I could kind of hear that it's opening and closing. Well, with that other lever, it's not like that. It's just, it feels like there's probably something broken on the inside or whatever. So guys, I put the lever kind of like up right now in up position. I know it might be confusing, but what I want to find out is if I try to start it, like, what is it going to be like doing really? So with the pin out of the way, let's start it up. Guys, I hope I did not mess anything up, but the weirdest thing, guys, I did of course disconnect the lever and everything's plugged in electronically, so it's technically doing good. So what I did in the video, besides having a lever up, I actually put it down, and when I put the lever down and then I revved it up a little bit, it actually kind of quit on me for some reason. It's either, I hope I didn't mess anything up, but probably should have kind of warmed it up before I did anything, but I'm not sure if I messed anything up by doing that. But when I put it down, that's when it stopped working. It's like now it doesn't even want to start just because of the turbo, which is kind of weird. So now I'm gonna try to put the lever back up and see if anything changes. So basically, guys, from what I could tell, this is kind of what happened. When I put the lever down, it was pressing down on the leg of the actual turbo actuator. It was pressing down on it. And I think electronically it was trying to compensate and wasn't really sure what was happening. So it wasn't doing anything. So when I turned things off and then I went and I looked at the lever, I went tried to put it up and down. I didn't notice it. It was kind of pushing down with a little springy action. That's because it was pressing, the turbo actuator lever was pressing down on the other lever where the actual actuator comes in, and it was kind of malfunctioning something because it was possibly trying to compensate for something, and it just was not working because there was no C-clamp on there. So right now I got it on and I put the lever in up position, and let's see if that actually boosts the PSI somehow, and if it's actually even going to be drivable. I'm going to try to clear the codes and see what happens. Okay guys, as you can see, it's a P0299 turbo supercharger under boost condition. This is the only code that I'm getting right now. So let's clear this and let's see if it's even going to come back. Right now you can see there's no codes. The lever is in up position. Let me see. Okay, it does feel strong right now. I'm gonna try to drive it a little bit and try to see if that code is actually going to trigger again. Okay guys, it's time for a test. It's a little scary. I'm always trying to risk it and to try to fix a problem by using the least amount of materials possible. And the reason for this type of test is I'm trying to figure out, do you really need a turbo actuator? Could it be just plugged in? Maybe it's not working, but the computer thinking, look, it's plugged in, it is there, the lever's moving up and down. Or, well, the actuator says, at these RPMs, I should be shifting the turbo down to make the turbo boost a little bit less, a little bit more, to try to adjust, the fuel ratios and stuff like that. And then it's gonna trigger a limp mode, and then it's not gonna be pulling good. Or could it mess anything up? Because look, with vehicles, with having all these sensors and stuff, there's all these workarounds and stuff. Sometimes you need to reprogram the whole computer, or add a chip or something to try to I don't know, dismiss some of those problems. But it's kind of interesting. But I cleared the codes and I'm gonna try to just do a little test drive with you guys. But man, I'm thinking, what's gonna happen? It's kind of exciting. Because if I figure this out, this means I just saved myself a lot of time not removing the turbo by just adjusting the wastegate manually, which I will talk about that already in a video that I have pre-recorded, not really knowing if you could do that or not. So this will answer that question to me and maybe to you guys. Hey guys, one thing that I could tell already, and I haven't even left anywhere, just backing up, I could hear the turbo just spinning kind of fast. Definitely faster than it was before. Just backing up, and I was not even revving it, and so I possibly has just boosted the performance of this thing by majorly, but it could also result in a bad head gasket. I could technically blow it at this point because I'm allowing so much air to get in, and I did actually replace the air filter, guys. So anyways, traffic is gone. Let's test. There's a couple more cars. I could tell a limp mode triggered, but we're not actually getting a limp mode. Look, it's barely pulling. So I'm gonna have to turn around and then adjust the wastegate again, see if that's going to do anything different. Look, this is not the acceleration that you would want, guys. Look, it feels like the computer has turned off my turbo. So I haven't really, look at the sound. You could hear the turbo spinning it like really fast and stuff. So I think the computer has detected that it cannot control it and put me in a limp mode. So the next question would be, can I just turn off the, just disconnect the turbo computer for it to not even do that? Maybe if I disconnect it, it's not going to put me in limp mode. So we'll see about that. Let's get back to my testing grounds. But I could hear it it's a lot louder, so possibly I did open up the turbo. It's just the thing is, I don't know if up or down that it actually opens the turbo up. So we're back home. And let me rev it and see if that does anything. First we're gonna park it. Okay, obviously a limp mode. So let's see if we turn it off and if it's going to reset. So we turned it off. So it cuts on just fine. So it seems like the computer lets it loose again. And I don't see any check engine light. So I don't know. I really don't know. So I'm gonna try to pop the hood open and I'm gonna try to put the lever down. Hey guys, don't mind the noise so much. Here's the turbo lever, and there's the actuator one. It's kind of like out on the side. Don't burn yourself if you're gonna do this. The turbo lever is down right now, but I was driving it in this position. Doesn't this make you feel that right now the turbo is actually, the wastegate is actually closed, and this is open, closed, open? But this is the way I was driving it, guys. So it does seem like my wastegate is actually working on this turbo. It looks like it's actually doing a fine job. So let's see if I can test it in the down position. Guys, and this one is even more scarier because last time I put it down, you've seen what happened. My vehicle will actually not even start up, guys. It was like just kind of dead. So let's see if it's actually gonna let me even rev. So the turbo lever is down. Okay, it seems like it's behaving just fine. So guys, in the last test, I was testing it up, and you've seen the acceleration was not that impressive compared to my video yesterday. And that's possibly due to the fact that the wastegate was closed, and then finally the computer said, look, it's closed, let's just go ahead and turn the turbo off. The surprising factor is, it did not throw a code. I actually just showed you my speedometer. There was no check engine light on, but just in case, I went ahead and actually checked the codes with my computer, try to see like what's gonna happen there. So now it's time to close the hood, close the door. We're gonna do a second test drive. Okay guys, this time I haven't really left anywhere. As I was backing up this time, I do see a difference. This time I didn't hear the turbo spin extra fast. It seemed like it was kind of normal, and it seemed like it was a little bit more open. Like I could just hear the exhaust gases kind of like getting out of there. Guys, sometimes I feel like I'm in tune with these cars, man. So let's see what's gonna happen now. Let's test it. Okay, I really don't like this, guys. I'm not even actually gunning at this point. I see the turbo spinning really fast. Just gonna go ahead and make a turn. Yeah, I'm really not liking this one. Really don't want to mess anything up. So I think possibly the turbo is kind of going crazy. Yeah, like it's not really allowing me to really accelerate, guys. it's not that good, so I don't know what's going on. Man, trying to hack this turbo, it's not turning out to be so easy. So I wonder if it's going to make a difference. I'm gonna try to, and I really don't like to do this, I'm gonna try to just park my van. We are back in park, so the limp mode is not back. I'm gonna remove some stuff from the back and do the stuff. So okay guys, in trying to hack this turbo, we're gonna go at it one more time. Now that I've removed the drywall in the back, that's the purple stuff that you were seeing back there. It's a drywall for the bathroom. It was just sliding around wildly. Last time I shut my engine off, guys, and then I tried to basically go. It did feel very torquey and just accelerated like crazy. So yeah, I don't want my my doors to be knocked out over there, like in the back with the drywall just hitting it like it is, because that could happen actually. It could mess some stuff up. Guys, you could probably tell I'm a little bit scared on this one. I could potentially destroy my engine because I probably opened up the turbo way too much. One of the things that might still happen though, the turbo actuator will detect that it's spinning way too crazy and it will shut the turbo down. But in that case, if that does happen, it's going to throw code turbo overboost condition detected. But what did we learn so far, guys? Well, we have learned this turbo works just fine. It does have a possible wastegate issue because it was kind of getting stuck. When I first disconnected the wastegate, disconnected the turbo actuator, and I tried to shift the lever up and down, it felt like very springy, kind of like as I was pressing it down, like it's almost kind of like having to bend some kind of like metal or something's in the way to where it's kind of like going, you know, like you can bend it, but you have to do it with force, and really that lever should just move up and down like freely. So this gives me kind of like this type of conclusion. So I'm thinking possibly the turbo actuator, the electronic part, is actually good. It's trying to do its job, but it can't because the turbo shifter was getting stuck every now and then. I did put some WD-40 on it. I'm not sure if that's going to improve anything, but guys, we're gonna do one more test, and I'm going to try to test it like it is right now. Let's see if we're gonna get any codes. I'm not gonna go very far so I don't mess anything up and potentially get stuck and have to tow my own self back over here. But I'm gonna try to do this test. Let's see how it accelerates, and after this test I'm gonna do another test, but this time we're gonna put the turbo actuator arm back on, and we're gonna see if that really improved anything. How soon will the check engine light trigger? Will it potentially make the turbo pull less? But in the next video, guys, that I have made yesterday, but I just did not upload yesterday, it's about turbos and stuff. I wasn't really sure how these turbos worked. Well, no, I was trying to explain how they work, but I wasn't sure if you can adjust the turbo actuator manually. And that's actually what I'm trying to do right now. If there's a way to try to remove the turbo actuator and trick the system, basically hacking the turbo, for it to just not have that leg, but for it to be plugged in and think that everything is fine, everything is normal. So, you know, and possibly I could probably find a good area where the lever sits good, maybe somewhere in the middle, do some kind of makeshift little thing over there to where the turbo PSIs would be limited, you know, and they're all, but always be constant. But with these electronical type of system, it's constantly having to regulate the pressures and stuff, and probably like fuel ratios, and, you know, adjusting the fuel economy and stuff to maybe like maximize the best fuel economy possible. But with what I'm kind of doing and turning the Sprinter pretty much into a race car, which I always claim, well, it's not a race car, so drive it lightly, and that's the way I actually do. I drive it lightly, guys. But for these tests, I have to kind of drive it a little bit hard to try to just, you know, see what's the worst that could happen. I just hope it's not going to be my engine. So let's try the test. So before starting this test, guys, I'm going to go ahead and rev the RPMs. As you can see, there's no check engine light on, and then I did not turn my vehicle off or cleared anything. It did not even do anything. So let me see here. So it goes up to 4 just fine. So let's continue. Okay, guys, the wastegate is back on. Well, I'm saying wastegate, turbo actuator is back on. But here's what happened, guys. This is something I did not expect. The turbo actuator actually was controlling the turbo pressure somewhat. This is why we've probably seen the performance that we did. I'm not saying good or bad, but I had the shifter all the way down, and when I basically parked the thing, the lever was all the way up, and I could see the wastegate was actually, well, the turbo actuator was way up against the turbo lever that I actually had down, so it actually caused it to go up, you know, therefore controlling it somewhat, and you know, it was no longer being down. So I think the turbo actuator was trying to control things, which probably also, you know, caused that it did not cause the check engine light to come on. But now the turbo actuator is on. I did not put a C-clamp on it. It seems like it's a snug fit, so we're not gonna really need it. So time for another test. So here we go, guys. No. Okay, now I'm gonna open it up. You could definitely see the difference. It's definitely providing more boost right now. This is the performance I was getting yesterday. Well, it's almost scary how much boost it's creating. But now the things are normal, everything's attached, so there's really nothing to worry about. It's definitely performing a lot better with turbo actuator being attached. However, I think it's a good thing that we did actually disconnect the turbo wastegate. The turbo actuator, to try to actually get the turbo lever kind of like unstuck, because I moved it up and down, put some WD-40 from the outside, and it probably did not really help much, but just the fact that I was able to control it up and down probably did help. So I'm gonna try to reduce the speed to 60, and believe it or not, guys, it's actually a lot harder to drive at 60 with it being connected, because it wants to go more. So that's still just a little bit above 2000 RPMs, which is, I guess, normal. That's actually what we were getting. So it does actually provide more boost, because the wastegate is being opened at proper times due to the computer controlling it properly. So we're definitely seeing a little bit more performance. But I still think it's a good idea to disconnect it sometimes if you're not getting any performance, just so you could test it up or down. But from what I could tell, when a turbo lever is down, it definitely seems like the turbo opens up a lot more. It probably spins a lot faster, because I do believe that that's what it does. It makes it spin faster, but I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I know there's ways to adjust the turbo PSIs, and normally it's probably not adjusted with the wastegate. I just think possibly the wastegate is just, you know, control the exhaust gases, so it's probably not getting me any more PSIs, because I certainly did not notice any different. But keep in mind, guys, I'm just starting to test this type of stuff. I really never did before, so I have a lot of theories. I'm pretty sure I'm correct on a lot of them. But as far as increasing the PSIs on the turbo with just that little shifty thing, I think I'm off. I think that's just controlling the wastegate, but not PSIs. But initially I was starting to think that somehow when you actually you know, control it up, it's actually giving you more horsepower, which it probably doesn't. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn around again, guys, and do one more acceleration test, and we're gonna see where. So now that the van is parked in this random street here, yeah, I really don't like how it's working either. I'm gonna take a risk and turn it off. Okay, it did come on just fine. Now it feels like it's open. Let's see if this does anything. Okay, this time it did kind of perform good, but I have some stuff in the back, and really not sure. Like, I probably should remove some of that stuff. I'm just gonna go home and see if just that little acceleration, I didn't do it that much. I don't want to bust my doors out, but I'm gonna try to go inside my driveway and see if the limp mode is back, even though the check engine light's not on. And if it's back, that means it's only going to be going up to 3000 RPMs. So let's see what's gonna happen now. Okay guys, I've turned around at the lake. I don't want to waste much of your time, so let's see if we're in limp mode. We are definitely not in limp mode, so it's driving just fine. Let's see the max acceleration this time. It's driving good, but I don't feel good about it. I do feel, I do see smoke coming out of my tailpipe. It's almost kind of like bluish smoke, I think, every time I hit it. And it's not really normal for it. I don't see any smoke right now. But I think when I did actually accelerate the first time, it did create smoke. But I'm gonna do one more test. I'm gonna just turn into one of the streets and I'm gonna try to accelerate just to see what's it gonna do. But it is working a lot louder, and I do hear the turbo spin. It's definitely a lot more noticeable, and that's because it's probably wide open. I do have one of the computer checkers that tells you how fast your turbo spinning. It's an Android based system, so I can't really use it right now. I do have Android at home that I could connect it to, but you know, I might do it, you know, but not in this video. So it's like a little hill. It accelerates just fine up the hill. I mean, here's the way I think, guys. If your turbo situation is kind of bad, you can actually probably do this and drive like that, and you know, like not to drive slow, you know, to drive normal, accelerate, you know, normal, because technically it's not triggering a limp mode. So whether it's going to harm your engine, I don't know. That's just going to be up to you to try to figure that out. But I'm trying to do my best to try to show you what can you expect from this. But one thing I do want to point out, guys, that what I'm doing here, guys, could potentially harm your engine and your turbo. So it's probably not a good idea. So we're going to do one more test. We are at that stop right now, so let's try to test it. Definitely turbo leg right there. Let's feel a little bit more stronger. And I'm really not going to do any more because the street is kind of curvy. But it seems like it's accelerating fine. I do feel just slight little lag, like just a little bit more lag. I could definitely feel it. And that's probably because the wastegate is not being controlled, and to properly control the, you know, the boost and stuff. But it does feel like at least it's drivable, you know, pretty good. So in our next test, we're actually going to go ahead and connect the wastegate back, and we're gonna see if how long it's gonna take for it to trigger limp mode, if any. Because now that the lever feels like it's a little bit unstuck, maybe it's going to be fine, or maybe it's going to trigger. But with all these tests I did, the check engine light obviously did not trigger. So we're gonna park this thing again, put it in park, and let's see if it even accelerates above 2,000. Definitely really strong. That's just what I would like to see. I turned around. Let's see if we're back in limp mode. We are not, but here's one thing that I did notice as I was turning around. I noticed a cloud of black smoke when I accelerate, I think pretty much from a second to third gear, something like that, probably along those lines. I did not notice a cloud of black smoke before. It is kind of normal for diesels to smoke a little bit, but I'm really not sure. Like maybe the wastegate is open now, and that's probably why it's allowing more exhaust, you know, to go through. So here we go. Let's try to accelerate. So a little turbo lag, and then it opens up. I did not see any smoke this time, but I do see that the way it accelerates now is quite normal. It's really steady. It feels like that's the way things are supposed to be. It doesn't feel like really laggy. Like it feels like that's probably normal for the Sprinter, and actually probably mine is a little bit faster due to the fact that there's no restrictive airflow now because my muffler's off, my catalytic converter's off, so it's possibly performing better. So what I'm gonna do now, guys, is I'm going to upload this video today. On the way over there, I'm gonna do like a little bit more tests, and the main thing is I wonder, like, will it go back into limp mode? Because I'm going to be driving and like about like 10 miles, and I'll have like street lights and whatnot, so possibly that if the turbo wastegate is going to be getting stuck, it should get stuck by then, and then we're gonna really find out, is the turbo needs replacing, should we replace the turbo actuator, the electronic part. But I'm kind of hoping that I kind of got it unstuck. That's what I'm hoping for. Last time I went and I messed with the lever, it goes up and down kind of easy. I don't feel anymore like it's squeezing anymore, like you know, it's not difficult. So it feels like it's driving pretty good right now. Like I'm happy with it. Like if this is the way it drives, that's fine. I don't drive the Sprinter fast, guys. This is why I have Sprinters last me as long as they do. But for these kind of tests, I have to, you know, go all out because I want to find out what it's doing. I'm not going to find this out by driving it really slow. But to have your Sprinter last you the longest, just try to drive all highway miles. Don't shut your Sprinter off if you're fueling or if you're like picking up a load. Maybe have an extra spare key so you could lock up the doors when you leave. But other than that, if you keep diesel just running and stuff, it's not going to wear out as soon, you know, like as quickly. That's at least what I'm kind of thinking. But anyways, guys, this test is concluded, and like I said, I'm gonna drive 10 miles right now, guys, and I'm gonna be testing it on the way over there, and then I'm gonna upload this video. If you're not gonna, well, I'm gonna give you guys a little update anyways. I was gonna say if you're not gonna like see any more update, then everything worked out, but I'm going to test it out either way, guys. So let's finish this. So anyways, guys, I only drove like pretty much like a block, like 3 houses or something, and from my house, trying to actually test this again. I had the engine off and then turned it on, and then as soon as I left my house, the check engine light came on. So let's see if we're in limp mode. We are definitely in limp mode, and as you could see, the check engine light is on. Let's see if we could clear the check engine light and get rid of that limp mode, because this actually was not working for me. Like I would clear it, but I would still be in limp mode. So let's see if I just cleared the limp mode. Let's see if it will accelerate. Okay, obviously the limp mode is not there. Gosh, I'm really hoping for a good ending. I really don't want to replace the turbo or the turbo actuator. I guess the very first thing I would replace is the turbo actuator for this problem, just to see if it's an actuator type of problem. But turbo's not that hard to replace. The hardest thing about a turbo replacement is the stuck bolts, because it's just 3 bolts that's holding it, and there's a lot of stuff you have to remove in front of it. And knowing this vehicle here, this is from New York, a lot of stuff was rusted on this vehicle when I was replacing it. So I'm gonna drive, you know, kind of like about 10 miles, and I'm gonna have street lights and different type of driving conditions. Let's see if it's going to get triggered again, and you know, I may have to end up just coming back and saying, look, it's not fixed, I need to go ahead and remove the turbo or the actuator and just try to fix it that way. But we're gonna resolve it in this video, guys, find out exactly kind of what's going on, and if I'll have to replace the actuator, that's going to be for now. Okay, guys, I just drove pretty much again about the same type of distance, and even though the check engine light did not come on, I could definitely feel that either I'm in limp mode or the wastegate is just closed, and we're actually gonna find out. I'm not gonna shut the vehicle this time, but I will turn around and I'm gonna remove the turbo actuator, and I will let's see, this is and I will actually see if I could adjust it myself, and to see if we could actually get rid of the barely pull it, because look at us getting now, it is very slow. it's even pointless to try to like go faster, you know, whatever, like, you know. But I'm gonna try to use this triangle here to kind of like turn myself around. So I'm gonna try to show you guys the acceleration that I'm getting. I gotta stop at the stop sign, make sure there's no cars coming, because it is accelerating really slow. And this is the acceleration that I'm getting right now. I don't care like if I'm hitting the gas all the way, that's it. That's what's going on. Barely accelerating. And this is kind of the thing that I don't want. So anyways, guys, I'm gonna come home right now because I'm still really close. I'm glad this happened now rather than 10 miles later, because now I could do something about it, and I may end up just having to replace the actuator or the actual turbo itself. But one thing that I know that I could actually do is, now I could, since I don't have the C-clamp on the actual actuator, I could remove that little leg thing and adjust the turbo myself. I'm gonna put it down this time, and I'm gonna see if that's going to open it up. And I think this is really important to actually diagnose your vehicle properly. It doesn't matter that this video is so long, but this actually is going to be really informative with me doing all these tests, because sometimes you guys might not be able to do all these tests. But one thing's for sure, guys, I'm able to go above 60 miles an hour, but I feel like I don't have a turbo at all. Like, it feels like it's just not spinning anymore. So this could be just a bad turbo. Who knows, you know? This could be the case. But if I do open up the wastegate and it's going to work, then it's going to be like, maybe it's just a wastegate. It's just getting shut down, you know. But I'm not gonna have it on camera. I'm just gonna try to remove that little lever and just go from there. Okay, guys, I have disconnected the lever, and I was able to easily shift it down. So let's see if that actually removed it from limp mode. No, it didn't. And this actually does not. One thing I do want to share with you guys, you can clearly see this is the actuator, and it wants to stay up. Like, I cannot actually shift it down. So it does seem like the actuator is working. Could it be stuck in that position? I don't know. But I'm gonna try to attach the actuator and see if it's... So basically, guys, what I have done is I went ahead and just put the lever back onto the wastegate, and I'm gonna try to turn the vehicle off and to try to see if that's going to reset the check engine thing. Well, it doesn't have the check engine light, but you know what I mean. So I did not shut it off yet, but I want to kind of do it just to make sure. So we have it quit. So now it's performing. So one thing's for sure, guys, so for some reason this kind of triggers it, and I'm not really sure kind of like what's going on. It could be just a turbo actuator just causing this problem, like it's just doesn't want to work properly, because right now it seems like it's working completely good. But I would love to see kind of like what's going on, like when you're actually driving it, maybe like somehow put a camera there, but I can't really rig anything up right now just to see if while you're driving it the lever is actually controlling, you know, or it's having a difficulty to try to do that. But one thing I could tell is the little shifty thing, it is working on the actual actuator. But so now that I turned it on, let's see what kind of position that it's actually at when it's not. So that seems like it's in the same position. So I'm really not sure what to tell you guys. Yes, one thing that I will do is I'm gonna try to basically drive it one more time in normal driving conditions without like going fast on it, and we're gonna see like if this gets triggered again. If it does, then that's like it's kind of pointless for me to even do anything else. But one thing I will do is disconnect the electronical portion of the turbo actuator and see if that's going to make it. So again, guys, I've got the same type of issue. Here's kind of like what I noticed when driving it lightly. The check engine light triggers a lot quicker. At least that's what I noticed. This is a gas station that's back here. I pulled over here last time. It's about 3 houses down from me. I could definitely tell I'm in limp mode. Let me see here. Yes, I definitely am. So what I'm gonna try to do is shut the engine off, and I'm gonna just try to drive it a little bit faster and see if it's going to trigger about the same, you know. And if it's going to trigger again, which it will, I'm just gonna try to unplug the turbo actuator, and we'll drive it then and see what that's gonna be like. Okay guys, basically driving home again, like maybe like 3 houses down, as you can see, check engine light is not on. But this is what I'm getting. So this is kind of interesting, guys, because it's completely random. As you've seen earlier in the video, I was able to drive it fast. It was accelerating just fine. We've been trying all these different things, and it was working out. And now it does not want to do that, which is really, really, really strange. So that leads me to try to like do another thing, to try to figure out, like, is this the turbo causing this, or is this a computer? And I know a lot of you guys probably thinking it's the turbo actuator, and my decision's split, guys. I really can't really tell if it's turbo actuator doing this, or this is just something wrong with the turbo wastegate. But something's triggering this, and I can't tell what it is. So here's what I want to do. I want to disconnect the turbo actuator. Then I'm going to disconnect the actual lever from the turbo, so that it's not going to try to go up and down and messing that turbo up. And we're going to take the turbo lever, we're going to stick it all the way down, and pretty much have it kind of like opened up. And I'm going to see if you can even drive it like that, or if you can't. Like, what if it's immediately just not going to work? So the very first thing I want to do is just disconnect the power source to the actuator, and we'll see. So guys, here's what I've done. I climbed underneath, and it's very easy to disconnect that power to the turbo actuator. So we just disconnected the turbo actuator. I left the lever in place. Let's see if it even starts, because I don't know. Like, I'm doing this for the first time with you guys. So it did start. Now let's see if it's going to be in limp mode. It is not in limp mode. The shifty little thing from the turbo actuator, it's still on the turbo itself, possibly keeping the turbo kind of like aligned where it should be, kind of like normal when I cut the vehicle off. Let's see if it's even going to trigger any kind of limp mode with me trying to drive with just the power source disconnected. Let's see if it even drives good. I don't know. And I guess if it's going to, well, the way the check engine light was triggering was no check engine light. It's just basically a limp mode. That's it. That's all I was getting. So I'm not really sure if the turbo actuator is detecting a problem and it's causing the computer to shut down or what. So with the turbo actuator being off, will the computer say, oh, what happened? You know, why is it off? And it's going to trigger a limp mode, or will it just not even trigger anything because there's no signal being sent? So let's figure this out. I guess I will record what's going to happen. So let's go. So you guys could actually see what you could expect. Well, it's accelerating really poorly. It's barely pulling. This is all I'm really getting, guys. It's a very little hill, and it does not feel like I have a turbo. So as I'm up higher on the hill now, it feels like it's accelerating a little bit better. So what I'm going to try to do is come to this gas station, just turn around. We're gonna shut my engine off, and then back on to try to see if I could clear this limp mode, and let's see how fast it will actually trigger. Because guys, I mean, it could be this actuator thing. Maybe there is something wrong with the actuator where electronically it's no good. So it maybe works sometimes. Nope, it's still very slow. It's even worse than it was before, guys. That's what I can tell you for sure. So we're back home now. As you could see, it basically is in limp mode. So as promised, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect the lever now, and then I'm gonna press the lever all the way down and see if the turbo could be manually adjusted, if the computer still will kick it into limp mode, causing the turbo not to spin, because now turbo actuator is off. Let's see if this will even work, because if this will work, this would be kind of like a turbo hack, because then it means you could adjust it the way you would like to, you know. So guys, I hope you could kind of catch the squeakiness of this. Here's the turbo actuator thing. Can you hear this? Like this very slight squeaking. Like it should go higher, but it doesn't, because there's something restricting it from actually going there. Wow. So I did get it like into some place, and then I did not want to shift up. But look at the way this lever is. Look how loose it is. I don't think it should be like that. It's too loose. But regardless, let's start this thing up, and let's see if we're gonna be in limp mode. Let's see how far I could drive before it puts me in limp mode, if it's not in limp mode already. So it's on. I could definitely see a difference. Looks like we're not going to be driving anywhere. The check engine light is on. Okay, now look at this code, guys. We got a completely different code. Turbocharger, supercharger, Westgate solenoid A. So it's detecting something wrong with the wastegate, and that's probably due to the fact that we have the electronic one disconnected, or this could be that it's detecting a certain type of flow, that it's too much and it's triggering this. So I'm going to delete it, and let's see how fast it triggers again. So let's see if this will trigger. So it pretty much triggered again. Couldn't really even go anywhere. I just actually read the codes, and there's no codes. Let's try to turn it on again. I tried to basically keep it above 3000 RPMs. It's still triggered. As soon as I went a little bit below, it stopped it. Could be just a coincidence, but it's obviously doesn't want to work with the electronic portion being turned off. So I'm gonna do the next test. I'm just gonna plug in the wastegate, and let's see how quickly it's going to trigger. No, I will plug in the turbo actuator, the electronic part. Okay, the electronic portion is plugged in. Let's try to start it. See what's gonna happen. So I'm just gonna do like a normal type of testing. Let's see how quickly it's going to trigger. So it's still not triggered. So it's still not triggering a limp mode. Kind of strange. It almost makes you think that there's nothing wrong with the turbo, but I'm still kind of like not convinced, because I really don't think that little lever should be that loose, and it should not be creating a little screeching sound, because I have another turbo and it's not doing that. So I don't know, guys, what do you think? Put your answer in the comments below, because in the next video I'm gonna be trying to figure this out before I even get your comments and stuff. That video is going to be already made, so it's going to be pretty interesting. If you guys knew what the problem is this the actual turbo, or is this the turbo actuator? But I'm replacing the turbo actuator in the next video, and we're going to see if that alone will fix the problem, or will it not, because it could be just a turbo actuator, the electronic portion, but it could also be the turbo. But I'm gonna do the final test, and we're gonna call this video to an end. So I'm gonna try to drive and just see if it even drives normal, how far I could drive normally. So we're doing the final test in the same direction. That's interesting. It was a while in that gear. Turbo is spinning. I really don't like it though. Not really sure like what's going on. So I'm gonna try to go back in my direction, and let's see, because I think it's not actually accelerating the proper way. It does feel a lot stronger. Okay, I definitely don't want to drive in these conditions, but I'm just going to drive a little bit further just to even show you how it actually will accelerate. This is for the test purposes. But I could tell the turbo itself is working. So it's possibly just the wastegate, guys. I mean, it's accelerating, I think, not good because the computer's not really helping it any. Because it's not being controlled, because the turbo is actually, I think, well, the wastegate is wide open. So I believe the, you know, the computer, like, it can't really do anything to it. You know, that's why, you know, the wastegate's probably, the turbo actuator is trying to open up the wastegate or close it, and I think the lever's moving up and down, but it's not really doing anything. So therefore, the actual accelerations are okay, like they're not the best, but at the same time, the limp mode's not being triggered because it's actually kind of like working, I guess, because you can see it does accelerate, but above 40 miles an hour, like, it does not want to accelerate as good as with the turbo actuator being plugged in. So we're just gonna come home. It's kind of nice. I have these like little back streets here that I could just go on and like turn around like pretty easily, which is great. But I definitely could hear the turbo spin. It's spinning a lot faster. It's a bit more louder. So I'm back at my home. So in conclusion, I'm home. I didn't shut the van off yet. Let's see if it's limp mode. And it's not. You know, guys, I'm not sure if you guys with me on this or not, but my mind is screaming, hey, it's the turbo actuator. Like, it's the electronic portion, because when that piece is disconnected, yes, my vehicle is performing like not as good. It's a little bit more sluggish, but it does not trigger the actual limp mode. It's still drivable. Like, I guess in worst situation, if your turbo actuator does go out, at least you could do this little test, and you could actually disconnect the turbo actuator, the actual little leg thing, from the turbo and drive without it, and you might actually be able to go through some big major hills and stuff without being like driving like really slow, like 30 miles an hour, like a little bit above. And you will have your RPMs and stuff. So this video is going to help in that type of situation. However, I am home and I could do something about it. So I do need to go ahead and replace the turbo actuator. This will be the easiest thing to replace. It's just pretty much 3 bolts. So I'm going to replace it, and then I'm going to do these type of tests again. That video most likely is going to be a lot shorter. But this video is longer because we are doing diagnostics, and it's all about doing diagnostics, guys. It's really important. If you know how to diagnose it properly, well, you're gonna actually figure the problem out. And I think with you guys now, you're able to see kind of like what I did, and this might give you some ideas as well. So guys, feel free to respond. Feel free to teach me on this type of thing as well, like whatever you know. And let's share this information together, and let's save money together by not actually spending money at the shop and trying to get these turbos replaced. Because guys, look at this. I'm a little bit stumped. Don't you think a mechanic would be even more stumped when he didn't do like none of these tests that I just did? Like, yeah, sure, like mechanics could easily just replace your turbo and probably the actuator at the same time, and that's going to cost you at least $1,500 to $2,000 just for the parts. And then, you know, they're going to try to charge your arm and a leg for the labor. So, but anyways, guys, this video came to an end, but I do want to mention some other things which will make it just a little bit more longer. But you know, there it goes. But one thing I do want to kind of clarify with you guys: do not spend a lot of money like on these turbo replacing type of stuff. You know, like, you know, for shops. I know I've mentioned in the last video people paying between $5,000 and $7,000 for a turbo, guys. Yes, that's ridiculous. And this is not from my viewers. This is actually from people that I have met at truck stops and stuff like that. They would show me the turbo. They're like, hey, do you know what's wrong? Because I just spent $5,000 on this turbo and I'm still having the same issue. And that's due to the fact that somebody does not properly diagnose the problem with the turbo. And just because it's not spinning does not mean that the turbo is actually broken. Because what actually happens is the turbo actuator it will sometimes make the turbo not work because there's some other problem, you know, to prevent like things like your head gasket being blown because the turbo would be spinning too much. Normally the problems that you actually would see out of these sprinters here is actually turbo overboost condition detected, not turbo underboost condition detected. Now if you are experiencing overboost type of a condition with your turbo, chances are there's a leak somewhere. Check your pipes, there's going to be a leak. The very common leak that actually happens is with your actually turbo resonator. That plastic thing that attaches right directly to the turbo, and then it attaches right to the alternator kind of like housing, you know, thing, you know, like a clamp looking thing. It's like a round metal thing. It attaches over there with some 7mm bolts. And also guys, I want to let you know like another thing. If you are looking for cheaper parts or would like to do like price comparison type of shopping, the website that I have created, Zimaleta.com, it's actually going to be a pretty good place to do that. I did create it so I could have kind of like my own online store for like my channel merch, stuff like that, used parts of course. But since I'm not putting none of that stuff for sale right now, I'm not sure actually like when I'm gonna put it. I did actually make something really cool for you guys. I went to Amazon and I set up a partnership just so that I could actually get their HTML script for all their listings. For pretty much any listing that's on Amazon, I could actually get HTML and put it on my website, and then I have to do certain things to set it up, which it's actually pretty easy to do if you know what you're doing. But the reason I actually did that, so that if you guys are looking for a particular part, or you're trying to do an oil change, or some kind of like electronic part, I have separated everything into categories, and I spent an entire day, guys, searching Amazon for all the good deals and just any kind of deals, so that I could actually put them like at a category. And just to make an example, for instance, if you're trying to get a pulley and you're thinking, well, is 30 bucks a good deal for a pulley? Well, I already took all the pulleys and stuff that was for sale on Amazon, and I put them all side by side. So you're gonna see, okay, this pulley is 10 bucks, this is 20, this is 50, and you pick the best deal. So you could actually do some price comparison on my website, which will make things a lot easier. But anyways, guys, let's continue. Let me show you the turbo. Let me show you the turbo actuator, so you have some idea if you never really looked at this type of stuff before. And another question, not a question. If you guys have questions for me, when you have specific codes, please just write down what the code's actually saying, because a lot of my viewers, they're already like, you know, telling me exactly kind of like what's going on, and that really helps for me to diagnose it immediately, the problem, to really help you. But to try to actually look up each individual codes is kind of difficult, because I cannot copy and paste those codes. This means I would need to leave the chat window where I'm trying to like respond to your comment and go search for this type of stuff, and I'm doing all this on my iPhone, so this means that if I leave that screen, sometimes it will crash or like not be there, you know, I won't be able to like respond efficiently. So I'm not trying to be lazy and not look up your codes, but just tell me kind of like what the code says, kind of like if it's I don't even know what code it is for turbo overboost condition detected, for instance, but I'm telling you this, the actual name of the code, because I actually know what's going on. So there's gonna be like other codes, and those codes, like in the writing, it gives me a really good idea kind of like what's going on. That's why don't give me the numbers, just give me the actual information what's on there, and do include the numbers in there. You know, I have like no problem with that, like whatsoever. That way other people could see those numbers, and they might actually remember the numbers and say, well, I'm having the same thing, so what the, you know, Zimaleta guy, what kind of answer did he give you? But I'm more than happy to answer all your questions, guys. And then another thing I want to tell you guys, thank you again so much for watching my videos, guys, and helping my channel grow. As I'm making this video, guys, I have 2,803 subscribers, which is awesome. I'm almost at my goal of 5,000 subscribers. I know this like was way off, and it might still take some time, but my goal is actually to get 5,000 subscribers, so I could actually do other things that involves my channel, to try to actually make money with like advertisers and stuff. So like on my own, because right now all the commercial that you're seeing, that's all Google's type of work. You know, Google and YouTube, basically it's one company. Their control another commercial. I could just basically choose what videos to display ads and stuff, you know, like that. And guys, it's really fun now. Like, I'm really getting addicted to making money from YouTube. Like, every time it's like it's something something fresh, and it's really nice to get that paycheck deposited to your bank account. So, but that's not why I do it. Of course, like as I explained to you guys, but it's just so fun. It's like a game, you know. It's like the longer I do something, the more they're paying me. And something I did realize, that YouTube is actually, they're promoting my videos. That's actually why my channel's growing. They're just taking my videos and they're basically displaying them, you know, for other people to click on them. So it's great. It gives me a higher chance of getting people to actually see my videos. And of course, once you did see my videos, you guys know that I'm a guy that's just like you, and you know, like, I look for like-minded type of people, and we could discuss this type of stuff together. And I do actually respond to my viewers, which I do think is really important for, you know, like my type of channel, because that's my goal, is to respond to every single person that actually writes to me, and to have some kind of like communication with you guys. And some of you guys become my friends. I mean, I'm noticing more and more I'm getting new people to really go to the comment section and just talking to me and stuff like that. And I really appreciate you guys taking your time to even do that. Like, really, thank you guys so much.